Hello students, how are you all? This is Triveni Ramat. Welcome back to my channel Integral Science. In the last video you have learnt about the chemical reactions and equations up to balancing the chemical equations. Today in this video you will learn about the types of chemical reactions. Based on the nature of the chemical reactions are broadly classified into 5 types. That is chemical combination, chemical decomposition, chemical displacement, double displacement, and then oxidation reduction reaction. These oxidation reduction reactions are also called as redox reactions. Okay, we learn in detail one by one. So let us start with the chemical combination reaction. So what do you mean by chemical combination? If the name itself it says that combining. When two or more elements or compounds chemically combine together to form a new compound is called as chemical combination reaction. So let us consider some examples. So in the chemical combination reaction, we have already discussed some examples already. In reaction, the name itself only it says that when two or more elements chemically combine together to form a new compound is called as chemical combination. Let us consider some examples. As we discussed earlier, that burning of magnesium, Mg plus O2 gives rise to magnesium oxide. So here two elements, magnesium and oxygen, chemically combine together to form a new product or new compound is called as magnesium oxide. So when we balance it 2Mg plus O2, it becomes 2MgO. Similarly, carbon present in the fuels burn in the presence of oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. Similarly, nitrogen chemically combines with the hydrogen, it forms ammonia, NH3. So when you balance it, here how many atoms are there? 2 are there. Here only one atom, make it as 2 here, it becomes N2. Here 2N. And hydrogen, how many are there? 2 atoms of hydrogen. Here how many are there? 2 into 3, 6. So it has to become 6 now. So make it as 3 here, 3 to 6. So it becomes 2 more molecules of ammonia. Similarly, some more examples we can take, like let us take now compounds. Calcium oxide, it is a compound, whereas these are elements. Calcium oxide, there are two elements are there. So calcium oxide plus water. When we add water to it, it forms calcium hydroxide, which is commonly called as slaked lime. So this slaked lime is used for whitewashing the walls. So in that heat energy is released. Here also energy is released. So these are the few examples of chemical combination reaction. So once again I will repeat. In a chemical combination reaction, when two or more elements or compounds chemically combine together to form a new product is called as chemical combination. You can take one more or two more compounds like ammonia, NH3 plus HCl, hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid. So both are in the gaseous, and then you will get a ammonium chloride. Okay, ammonium chloride, you know that it is a sublimated product. Okay, ammonium chloride, which you will get it as a solid. Similarly, you can take some more examples like hydrogen when burns in the presence of chlorine gas, or hydrogen when combines with the chlorine gas, it forms HCl, 2HCl. Similarly, sodium plus chlorine gas, it forms sodium chloride. When sodium burns in the presence of chlorine gas, it forms sodium chloride. So when you balance it, 2Na plus Cl2, 2NaCl. So these are the few examples of chemical combination reaction. So now let us go to the next part of the chemical reaction, that is chemical decomposition reaction. Okay children, let us learn about the chemical decomposition reaction. So here in chemical decomposition reaction, when a compound splits up into two or more substances, two or more simpler substances, we call it as chemical decomposition reaction. It is just opposite to that of chemical combination. In a chemical combination reaction, two or more elements or compounds chemically combine together to form one product. But here, one single compound splits up or breaks down into two or more substances. Just it is a reverse of chemical combination reaction. Okay, as per your syllabus, this chemical decomposition reaction is of three types. That is one, thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition reaction, and then electrolytic decomposition reaction, and photolytic or photo decomposition reaction. See, here in chemical decomposition reaction, one compound is already stable. It has to be split down or break down, or it splits up into two or more substances. So it needs some energy. That energy we have to supply in the form of heat. That's why it's called as thermal decomposition reaction. Electrolytic. Some compounds get decomposed by passing electricity. Using electricity, one compound splits up into two or more substances. Photolytic means some compounds are very sensitive to the sunlight. They just decompose in the presence of sunlight. So let us take an example of thermal decomposition reaction. So in thermal decomposition reaction, as we discussed, that energy has to be supplied, energy has to be carried out. So this decomposition takes place when a compound splits up by heat, by supplying heat energy into two or more substances. This reaction is carried out by supplying heat. For example, calcium carbonate. This is a compound which is available in the nature in the form of limestone, molluscan shells or marble. So on heating, on supplying heat, it gets decomposed, splits up, calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide gas. Similarly, zinc carbonate, ZnCO3, on heating, it forms zinc oxide plus carbon dioxide gas. See, in villages you might have seen that how quicklime is formed. Just in a kiln, they put the calcium carbonate and they'll heat it, or the limestone or molluscan shells, they'll put it in the kiln and heat it at very strong heating in the absence of air, and it gets decomposed to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. Now let us consider some more examples, that is consider some more examples. For example, this iron sulfate FeSO4 dot 7H2O. It is a heptahydrate molecule. Some salts are hydrated. They contain water molecules. So iron sulfate, it is a pale green crystal salt. It is crystalline solid, just like sodium chloride, but its color is pale green. So on heating, then it gets decomposed. First, initially it forms iron sulfate, this 7 molecules of water goes away and it is white. And further, so it can be reversible. So iron sulfate on further heating, here actually the decomposition reaction takes place. iron sulfate gets decomposes to iron oxide or ferric oxide. Another two products are formed, that is SO2 and SO3, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide gas. These gases are evolved, and iron oxide, it is brown in color. The residue which is left over in the test tube is iron oxide, and SO2 and SO3, these two gases evolved which causes irritating odor. They are colorless. Gently we have to waft the air towards the nose, you will get an irritating odor because of the sulfur fumes, SO2 and SO3 gas. The remaining, what is left over? Iron oxide. So here what do you see, that one substance breaks down into three products or three substances. Okay, three simpler substances. So it gets decomposed. Decomposition reactions occurs even in our body. So what we eat the food is in the form of carbohydrates, proteins, fats. They get decomposed in our body by enzymatic reactions into simpler molecules, like proteins break down into amino acids, carbohydrates finally they break down into proteins to amino acids, fats to fatty acids, and then carbohydrates to simple sugars. Okay, so let us take one more example. Lead nitrate. We'll take it as lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice. Pb is a lead, nitrate, NO3 twice. On heating, see this we have not yet balanced. Let us balance it. 2FeSO4. So Fe2, and then sulfur. How many sulfur atoms are there? 2s, and here 1s and 1s, 2s over. And how many atoms of oxygen are there? Here 2 4s are 8. Here 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 3 8. It is completely balanced now. Now lead nitrate. So lead nitrate on heating, it forms lead oxide plus, here also two products are formed, three products are formed, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen gas. These are the gases are evolved, and this is the solid. Here also solid. And here lead oxide, which is yellow in color, whereas lead nitrate is white crystalline solid. It is white crystalline. This is also pale green, and this pale green turns to brown, and here white crystalline solid turns to yellow. And what is the characteristic of nitrogen dioxide gas? You can see that brown fumes will be evolving. So the fumes of nitrogen dioxide are brown in color, brown fumes. Then which is the other gas released? Oxygen. How can you confirm that the gas is oxygen? Just bring a burning splinter, means burning mastic, towards the mouth of the test tube. The flame will be brighter. It shows that oxygen is helpful in burning. So the gas which is released is oxygen gas. After balancing, we will come to know that 2PbNO3 forms 2PbO, 4NO2. Okay. Now see that 2Pb, here also 2Pb, nitrogen. How many are there? Here 2, 2 2s are 4 nitrogen, here 4 nitrogen. Oxygen, how many are there? 3 2s are 6. Here oxygen O3, 3 into 2, 6. 6 2s are 12. And here 2O, 4 2s are 8. 8 plus 2, 10. 10 plus 2, 12. So now it is already balanced. So let us consider one more example. Potassium chlorate, KClO3. Potassium chlorate. On heating it forms potassium chloride and oxygen gas. So this, after balancing, 2 KClO3, it forms 2 KCl, 2 3s are 6, here 2 is there, so 3O2. So potassium chlorate. So on decomposing, on heating, it gets decomposed to potassium chloride plus oxygen gas. So here in all these examples you can see that these compounds on heating or by supplying heat, it gets decomposed to two or more substances. Now another category we will study, that is the decompositions which is carried out by supplying electricity. second category is by passing electricity. The reactions which is carried out by passing electricity. For example, electrolysis of water. So water formula, you know that H2O. Water on heating does not splits up into hydrogen and oxygen gas. So it is a very highly stable compound. So by passing electricity, so electricity is in the form of energy. So electrical energy, then water will splits up into hydrogen and oxygen gas. So it can splits up into hydrogen and oxygen gas. So on balancing, 2H2O forms 2H2 plus O2. So water splits up into hydrogen and oxygen by passing electricity. This can be done in a very easy way in your laboratory or even at home also. Take a plastic mug or any plastic jar and then make 2 holes here. Make 2 holes, insert 2 graphite rods and then this one, take the 2 test tube, fill the water and then invert it over the electrodes and fill the mug up to this water. So some of the water may goes inside because here it is, the water can pass here. So assume that the water level is up to here. And then connect these 2 electrodes to the 6 volts battery or 9 volts battery. The negative, you know that the negative electrode is nothing but cathode, and the negative is you have to connect to the battery to the negative terminal, which should be represented as small line, and then bigger line, small line, bigger line, which shows the positive terminal. So the anode is connected to the positive terminal. So that's why it is called as anode. The graphite which is connected to the anode terminal or the positive terminal, we call it as anode. If the electrode is connected to the negative terminal of a battery, then we call it as a cathode. So there are how many electrodes are there? 2 electrodes are there. One is the cathode, the other one is the anode. So when the electric circuit is complete, so when it is connected properly, after some time you can see that evolution of gases takes place in both the test tubes, means in both the electrodes, and the gas slowly goes on occupying here. But after some time you can see that the level of the water will not be remains the same. As more and more gas is occupied, it pushes the water downwards. And you can see that after some time at the cathode end, it pushes the water more and the gas is occupied more here. Whereas here, this much. So here the gas is occupied more than here. So at cathode, which gas is occupied here? Hydrogen gas is occupied, whereas here oxygen gas is occupied. The question may arise, why hydrogen gas is double the volume of oxygen? So here hydrogen, H2O, you can see that 2 molecules of water splits up into 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. Here also you can see that it splits up into 2:1 ratio. Or you can just take that water, you know that formula of water is H2O. It has 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Similarly, here also we can see that the hydrogen gas is double the volume of the gas which is occupied at the cathode is hydrogen, which is double the volume of oxygen. Okay. Now, some more reactions can be carried out by passing electricity. Another example, let us take that sodium chloride. In the extraction of metals, you will learn the same reaction. So, to extract the sodium metal, so sodium chloride is abundantly available in the oceans, in the salt. So, in the sodium chloride, it has to be heated in the molten state or in the liquid state. On this, we have to pass the electricity. When we pass the electricity to the molten sodium chloride, it splits up into sodium and chlorine gas. Similarly, sodium is a positive ion, so it is collected at the cathode. So, at cathode, the sodium is collected and the chlorine is collected at anode. So, here also it splits up. When you balance it, 2NaCl becomes 2Na plus Cl2. Similarly, aluminium oxide Al2O3. Aluminium is abundantly available in the earth crust in the form of bauxite ore, aluminium oxide. So it has, even this also has to be heated at very high temperature to make it as liquid or molten state. And then when you pass the electricity to it, it decomposes to aluminium and oxygen gas. So when you balance it, Al2 and here 3, O3 is there. You cannot, here it's an odd number and here it is the even number. Make it here even number, 2 3s are 6, 3 2s are 6 oxygen atoms. Here how many are there? 2 2s are 4, so 4 Al. So these are the some of the examples which are related to the decomposition reactions which is carried out by passing electricity. In the next category is, that is by passing sunlight. The reactions which are carried out in the presence of sunlight. For example, silver chloride AgCl. This silver chloride is very sensitive. Just you take the silver chloride in a watch glass or a china dish, you place it in the sunlight. You have to mention the conditions here. Sunlight, it gets decomposes to silver and chlorine gas. The chlorine gas, here only it is silver and the chlorine gas goes away. So when you balance it, 2AgCl becomes 2Ag plus Cl2. So this silver, you know that it is white, shiny, silvery, white, shiny metal. Okay, the silver is left over and chlorine gas escapes. Similarly, one more compound of silver is silver bromide. And in the presence of sunlight, it gets decomposes to silver and bromine gas. Bromine is brown fumes, goes away. Chlorine is greenish yellow gas, that also goes away. And what is left over in the watch glass? Only the silver. This is white shiny metal. So some reactions which are carried out by just keeping in the sunlight. One more is hydrogen peroxide H2O2. This is also, it is stored in brown bottles because if it is exposed to sunlight, this gets decomposes to hydrogen oxide, water plus oxygen gas goes away. So it splits up, it gets decomposed. When you balance it, here hydrogen and oxygen 3 are there, you make it even number here, 2O plus O2, 4 oxygen, here you make it as 2, 2 2s are 4, hydrogen also balanced now, 2 2s are 4, 2 2s are 4. So these are the examples about the passing sunlight. Now let us summarize about the decomposition reactions. Broadly, how many are there? Based on the nature, this thermal decomposition and then electrolytic decomposition. Another one is a photolytic decomposition reactions. Now which is the third category now? The third one is the chemical displacement reactions. See, in the chemical displacement reaction, in this reaction, one active element displaces the least reactive element from its compound. For example, to make it in a simple way, this A is one element, another is a compound. Here one element, another one is a compound. B and C are compound. B and C is chemically combined to form a compound now. Now in this, when we treat this A with the BC compound, A element with the, this is an element and here it is a compound. Then when this reaction is carried out, A is more reactive than B, or you can take it as any metal or a non-metal, and here A is a metal and B is also metal salt ionic compound. Then A is stronger than the B. A is much reactive than the B. What it does, it displaces the B and then A combines with the C, form AC, and B gets isolated, gets separated out. So here what you can see that a new compound is formed. So One highly reactive element displaces the least reactive element of a compound. So we will get a new compound AC and the B gets isolated. Or as just taken very easy example that B and C are very good friends in a class. As in the new year, you know that new friends will be arriving. One new friend has come and C is more attracted towards the A friend. So A and C have become good friends and poor guy, the B is separated out. So if you remember that kind of examples, so you will never miss this. So let us take now the right examples now. Iron. Iron is Fe, ferrum, Latin name. When iron is placed, iron nail, take it in a copper sulfate, CuSO4. Copper sulfate is a blue crystalline solid. Dissolve in water, it becomes aqueous. Even that color also blue in color. Dip an iron nail into the copper sulfate solution in a test tube. Then nothing, no heating, nothing. Just after some time without disturbing, after 15 to 20 minutes, you can see that iron reacts with the sulfate. Actually in aqueous solutions, these ions get separated. Copper ions and sulfur ions get separated. They dissociate into ions. Then iron will form a bond with the sulfate, forms iron sulfate plus copper. So your new compound is formed, iron sulfate. Iron sulfate is, you know that it is green in color, pale green in color. This also water will be there. So it is in aqueous pale green. You know that actual color of the copper. What is the actual color of the copper? It is reddish brown. So this gets separated out. So this is in solid, this is in aqueous, this is in aqueous, and this is solid. Just how to conduct this experiment? Take a test tube, take the copper sulfate solution and then dip an iron nail into it. You can just tie it with the thread and leave it for some time and take it out that nail. You can see that reddish brown is coated on the iron nail. The iron nail looks reddish brown. It is coated with the which metal? Copper metal. Similarly, one more example we can take that. Magnesium plus copper sulfate. This is also aqueous solution. Magnesium is available in the form of a ribbon. It is grey in color. And then when you dip it in the copper sulfate solution, it becomes magnesium sulfate. This is also aqueous and the copper also, here also copper is separated out. Magnesium sulfate is colorless. So you can see that the blue color of the copper sulfate fades away to colorless. You can see the change in the color. Blue to pale green in this reaction. Here copper sulfate blue, magnesium sulfate is colorless, hence the solution changes to colorless. So what does it, we can come to know that which is more reactive in this reaction, iron or copper? As iron is displacing the copper from its sulfate, so in this we can say that iron is more reactive than the copper. If you do vice versa, you won't get it. Suppose if you take iron sulfate plus copper, no reaction. Here in this one, magnesium plus copper sulfate, magnesium sulfate. It shows that magnesium is more reactive than the copper. Hence we can say that magnesium is more reactive than the copper. Hence it displaces copper from its sulfate form, magnesium sulfate plus copper. Similarly, we can take another example. Okay, let us take some more examples. Lead. Lead is plumbum. Latin name of lead is plumbum. Lead plus copper chloride, CuCl2. In the aqueous form, you will take it. This is green color, just like distemper green it is. Light green in color, copper chloride solution. Then you will get the lead chloride plus copper gets separated out. So lead chloride it forms. Here the solution is lead chloride is colorless. So here the green solution turns to colorless. So because of the formation of new product, that is lead chloride. So if it is already balanced. Okay. Now let us take another example like aluminium plus iron oxide, Fe2O3. When you heat aluminium powder with the iron oxide, here not aqueous solution, this is also solid and this is also solid. So when we heat aluminium with the iron oxide, it forms Al2O3, aluminium oxide, and iron gets separated out. Now in this, see the reactions that as lead is displacing copper plus copper chloride, copper from copper chloride, it shows that lead is more reactive than copper. Here aluminium is more reactive than the iron. If you do vice versa, you won't get it. For example, if you take aluminium oxide and treat with the iron, then you won't get the reaction. It shows that aluminium is more reactive than the iron. Let's consider a few more examples. Copper plus silver nitrate, AgNO3. This forms copper nitrate, CONO3 twice plus silver, Ag, 2Ag. Then here silver nitrate is colorless. It turns to copper nitrate, which is blue in color, and then silver is separated out, which shows that copper is more reactive than silver. Hello children, here I did not balance it. Now try to balance it, this equation. Al plus Fe2O3N gives rise to Al2O3. Try it out whether it is an unbalanced. Make it balanced now. See here you can see that only one Al, and here how many are there? Al2. Make it 2Al. And how many iron are there? Fe2. And here only one. Make it 2. And then oxygen atoms 3. It is balanced. And Cu1 here Ag, 2Ag, NO3 twice, NO3, 2 NO3 are there, so NO3 twice. Okay, so these are these equations of chemical displacement reaction. One more you can take that when a metal is placed in the acid, for example magnesium plus hydrogen chloride, then what you will get? Magnesium chloride plus hydrogen gas. So when a metal is placed in an acid, magnesium displaces the hydrogen, forms magnesium chloride, and hydrogen gets separated out. So it was in the form of a gas. So this is also an example of what? Chemical displacement reaction. So let us consider the next one, that is double displacement reactions. Next, the fourth category is double displacement reaction. The third one, what you have learned? Displacement. Chemical displacement is also called as single displacement. There one element is treated with a compound. Here double displacement means here the reaction is carried out between two compounds. So the two compounds, for example, if you can take that barium chloride, which you have already learnt in 9th standard, barium chloride plus sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Then it forms barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. So in this reaction, what we can see that the two compounds exchange their ions to form two new compounds. For example, barium chloride, it is a white crystalline solid. When it dissolves in water, it forms colorless. Similarly, sodium sulfate, it is also white crystalline solid. In aqueous form, it is colorless. But what we say, just to mix the two solutions, you will get a new product, that is barium sulfate. Barium, this sulfate, and sodium and chlorine will form another compound. So barium sulfate is white precipitate. As we discussed earlier, precipitate means which is an insoluble compound that separates out from the solution. So sodium chloride. So when you balance it, Cl2, Na2 are there. So make it as 2NaCl. This colorless. If you leave the solution like that, initially the entire solution will be white precipitate after the reaction. But if you leave it undisturbed for some time, you can see that barium sulfate is collected at the bottom. This is white color. White precipitate is formed here, and the remaining is sodium chloride solution. So here, what do we see that in an aqueous solution, they get dissociated into ions like barium ion and then chloride ion. Here also sodium ion and sulfate ions. They get dissociated into ions. And what do? They exchange the ions. Barium is more comfortable with this ion. See here, plus 2 and minus 2. And sodium is more comfortable with the chloride ion. Like for example, when in a class you will sit together, but you may not be so friendly with the student or with the friend who is sitting beside you. Also, when there is no teacher or when you go for a picnic, you will go and sit with the close friends. Like that, here barium is so friendly with the sulfate, so it will exchange the ions when they come together. So barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So here the reaction is, here what happens here, precipitate is formed. This is also an example of double displacement, and more specifically you can say that it is a precipitation reaction, because in this double displacement precipitation occurs. So this example can be considered for precipitation reaction. Precipitation as well as double displacement reaction. Specifically it is a precipitation reaction. One more example, let us take this. For example, lead nitrate PbNO3 twice plus potassium iodide. Both are again colorless. They are white crystalline solid. When we dissolve in water, it becomes aqueous solution. They are colorless. Here also colorless. When we just mix these solutions, then what do you see here? Also exchange of ions takes place. Lead will react with the iodine and potassium will react with the nitrate. So what you will get? Lead iodide Pbi2 plus KNO3. Potassium nitrate KNO3. Lead iodide. This is yellow precipitate. So this is also an example for what? Precipitation reaction. So when we balance it, it becomes 2KNO3, 2Ki Pbi2, and this is colorless. So this is also an example of precipitation reaction. Can we take any other example which is not a precipitation reaction? Okay. Reaction with an acid and a base. Take any acid like HCl plus common base NaOH, sodium hydroxide. They are already aqueous, dissolved in water or dilute solution of HCl or NaOH. So when we mix these two solutions, it forms NaCl plus water. Here also exchange of ions, NaCl and then H and OH, it forms water, Na plus Cl, NaCl. So here there is no precipitation, it is in colorless only, but what we see that is salt it is. Here NaCl, we know that it is a sodium chloride salt, which is a common salt which we use in our day-to-day life. So here salt and water is formed. Any reaction, if it is, the products are salt and water. When the salt and water is formed, when an acid reacts with the base, it forms salt and water. So the acid, the concentration of the acid is neutralized by the base. So it gets neutralized. So this reaction we also call it as neutralization reaction. Even it is considered for double displacement, but even we can say that it is neutralization reaction. Okay. So in the double displacement we can see that precipitation reaction, another one is neutralization reaction. Okay. Now next, another category is fifth one, that is redox reactions. And in the next class we learn about the redox reactions and then the effects of oxidation reduction reactions in everyday life.